From the 70s to the early 2000s, a number of the major roads in Perth City were one-way. In particular, as of 2007, William Street took you south, Barrack Street and Beaufort Street took you north, Murray Street took you east, Hay Street took you west, and so on. But in 2008, the Perth City Council under Lord Mayor Lisa Scafidi decided they would start converting one-way traffic to two-way traffic. An artistic but not scientifically convincing infographic listing their reasons for this is available at the City of Perth website. The problem with converting from one-way to two-way is the increase in conflicting traffic paths. There are 3 methods to deal with this in terms of traffic signalling. Method 1. Do nothing. Keep the single green light. An example of this is the intersection between William Street and St George's Terrace. After conversion, southbound traffic on William Street is reduced to 2 lanes, and all it takes is one left turner giving way to pedestrians and one right turner giving way to oncoming traffic, and all of the southbound traffic is stopped, even though the light is green. Compare this with one-way William Street, where traffic going straight ahead may choose the middle lane to avoid being held up by turning vehicles. Method 2. Put on a right arrow. Fixed green right arrows have been implemented along Beaufort Street at the intersections with Newcastle Street, Aberdeen Street, Rose Street and Wellington Street. While right turners will no longer hold up traffic behind them going straight ahead when the lights are green, only half of the traffic on Beaufort Street can be moving at any one time. In fact, when only a small proportion of traffic turns right, this scheme is less efficient than having no right arrow. See these cars here? They're all waiting for nothing, because nobody opposite them is turning right. As a result, traffic ends up waiting longer than necessary, and in some cases, the extra waiting time is not only the extra time waiting for the oncoming traffic, it is also the time spent waiting for other phases of the traffic cycle. For the bus routes 60, 66, 67 and 68 coming from the north, two-way traffic can put up to 5 minutes on the time it takes to reach the bus port. As a frequent patron of the 60 bus, I find this rather frustrating. Method 3. Ban the right turn. This has been done on William Street at the intersections with Aberdeen Street and James Street. While the traffic does flow smoothly, this is at odds with the infographic's claim that two-way streets provide more route choices, are easier to find your way around, and decrease unnecessary circling trips. Say I'm driving south down William Street. Because of the newly banned right turns onto Aberdeen Street and James Street, I must now make an unnecessary circling trip through Francis Street and Lake Street to get to either destination. Also, the following right turns are still illegal even though conversion would make them available. Wellington Street westbound onto William Street, St George's Terrace westbound onto William Street, Wellington Street eastbound onto Barrack Street, and St George's Terrace eastbound onto Barrack Street. The example of journey shortening given in the infographic is rather contrived. Firstly, if you want to go to a place on the adjacent street, you should really walk, not drive. Secondly, with the exception of Brisbane Street and the Esplanade completing a giant anti-clockwise loop, all of the main streets perpendicular to William Street and Beaufort Street, namely Newcastle Street, Aberdeen Street, Francis Street, Rose Street, Wellington Street and St George's Terrace have always been two-way. This example here with multiple one-way streets perpendicular to a pair of one-way streets is almost non-existent, except in the case of single-lane streets such as King Street which can't be converted to two-way anyway. The argument for two-way traffic significantly reducing journey distance only holds when the journey is short. For buses, conversion does not decrease the length of their route, however it does increase the journey time enough to miss a connecting route. Despite this, the infographic asserts that two-way traffic should encourage sustainable transport choices. Another reason given is that buses can depart and return on the same street, which is more convenient and logical. This depends on how you measure convenience. If you measure convenience based on the distance from you to the bus stop, then moving all the northbound bus stops off Barrack Street and onto William Street has no net outcome. Assuming bus patrons are distributed evenly in the vicinity of the city, shifting the bus stop closer to someone will make it further away from someone else. The situation is zero-sum. Two-way streets are also harder for buses to turn into, and in some cases this results in a keep clear zone carved into the road, which is a waste of queuing space. As for logic, I think it is more logical for public transport to be efficient than to worry about bus stops being on adjacent streets. Finally, the infographic mentions pedestrian friendliness, so let's discuss that. Two-way traffic is harder to cross. Unless there's an island in the middle, you need to judge gaps moving in opposite directions. Crossing one-way traffic, you only need to look in one direction, and briefly glance the other way to make sure nobody's going the wrong way. In particular, on the approaching side of traffic lights, you don't need to worry about turning vehicles, which is safer. On the other hand, crossing a two-way street requires more vigilance. The infographic also claims that two-way streets prioritize people, because the traffic is slower. If the goal is to make traffic slower, then just lower the speed limit. No need to change one-way traffic to two-way traffic, which would only reduce average speed and not necessarily maximum speed. That way, traffic still flows properly, even if it is moving a bit slower. So the next time you're stuck at the lights on Beaufort Street and the opposing lights are green, remember this. If the streets were one way, you'd be moving.